Day 18. Let's do it. Um, yeah, yesterday's map, a lot of mistakes on it. I'll show you real quick on what I did here. Put them all there. A lot of mistakes, kind of starting from here on east. I made North Carolina, Tennessee too wide, which made Virginia look basically like a mound. I lost all definition on the right side there because I was trying to make it reach the coast at all. Pennsylvania then got wide, New York got wide, and so on and so forth. One, my friend's Dom mentioned to me that Connecticut is in fact taller than Massachusetts, and I did look. Man, it is a little bit taller than Massachusetts. Just kind of eyeballing it, so try to implement that. And I do appreciate people kind of pointing out little details that I'm missing because it's largely the only way I'm actually going to get some of these within the next couple of weeks here, and before I kind of end this experiment. So, yeah, keep them coming if you see any mistakes I make. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Here we go. Move this away. Let's do it. Ooh, am I gonna need a new pen here? Not yet. Here, so half, and California takes up about 60% of this border here, so I kind of got to eyeball like a fifth of this, which is like, like that maybe. So like that. One of these days I'm actually going to draw California well, and that'll be a good day, but I feel like I draw the Idaho-Montana border a little differently every day. It's never god awful, but I don't always get it that great either, so. Constant state of improvement is what I'm aiming for here. Alright, Montana, a little long today, but maybe a little long. It's a pretty wide state. Okay, let's see. Colorado, about the same height as Wyoming. Funnily enough, I have a little bit of room for error on this because the four corners, I can just extend this border a little too much. If I extend the border a little too much, it's fine. I can fix it later. Okay, let's see now. Utah is about the same height as Wyoming, actually, too. So, actually, no, it's rather its height is about the width of Wyoming. So this is gonna be kind of. Let's see here. So if I do like, if I imagine like a circle like here basically, and then come up, like basically the height of that thing, then I get something pretty close. That's actually not bad. I probably could have done that a lot easier, but you know me, I don't do anything easily. Let's see. We're getting some storms here today, so you guys might hear some rain or some wind in the background here. Spring has sprung. Got a round of golf and 75-degree weather today. It's great. Gotta remember how far this flat California coast goes. It probably goes a little more than I'm giving it, actually, because of this part here also goes a little deeper, but that's okay. It's not a debilitating mistake. Okay, that's actually not half bad. I'm gonna give myself some credit for that one on California. Like, everyone kind of knows what California looks like, but it's actually really, really friggin' hard to draw. Something I've kind of learned through this whole process is I know what a lot of the states look like, and a lot of them are friggin' hard to draw. Okay, and again, remember right, the Oklahoma Panhandle takes up about an eighth of the southern border of Colorado. So, yeah, these are things you kind of learn, kind of pick up as you, since I've done this now for the 18th time, things you kind of figure out eventually. It's hard not to figure things out. A funny thing that happened the other day, actually, in one of my online quiz leagues, a question came up about the suburbs of Toronto, and because I was staring at Michigan for so long, and the Detroit area, right? Detroit butts up against Windsor, Ontario, and which is kind of closest to. No, it's not that close to Toronto. Is it? It kind of is. But basically, I came across a city called Mississauga, and they happened to ask about that city in the packet for the week. And it wasn't a question directed at me, so I did not get a chance to answer it. But I thought it was kind of cool that I happened to, not really study, but kind of just come across something that came up. One of the things that makes this worth it. I am not good at trivia, I'll say, but maybe I'm above average at it. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Nebraska takes up half of that. North and South Dakota about the same height, so that plus like a quarter of that. Montana, maybe. So there and there. So that's about right. And then about 3/4 of this here, because these are actually all the same height, it turns out. Kind of amazing, isn't it? All right, 1, 2, 3 panhandles. So we end it right about there. And then Oklahoma kind of butts out into Arkansas a little bit, and then kind of does that. And then this board is going to kind of come down a bit, so I'm going to kind of eyeball that a little later. No, I'm going to eyeball it now. No, too far. Okay, there's Louisiana. A little bit of a straight border, and then it kind of does that before it kind of comes in. Probably goes in a little more than I gave it, but okay, see, like, I always get this part of Texas pretty good. Like, right now, I'm really happy with what it looks like. And then this, like, these kind of two coasts or these two edges meeting always screws me up a little bit. Like, this something gets too thick or something is a little too, just not quite there. So I'm gonna take, like, the center of Texas here, which is yay wide, and then the southern tip is like 3/4 of the way across, so it's like there maybe. So I'm gonna, like, kind of, okay, there's Houston there, and then like Corpus Christi or Galveston or whatever that is. And it kind of does that. Okay, a little too far down. Not half bad though. I can kind of eyeball and look at it. It's a little too tall, but fortunately, it's not going to meaningfully affect anything because there's nothing to the south of Texas. At least not in our country. Okay, Louisiana. Alright, about 2/3 of the way up Kansas is a straight border. And then it kind of goes up at like basically a 60-degree angle on net, basically. So like that, and then kind of. We'll draw Kansas across here real quick. All right, Nebraska kind of does that number there, and like 2/3 of the way across is straight or so, and then it kind of drops down and drops down some more before it kind of turns into that. Oh God, that's really ugly. Oh God, that's terrible. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some work on that and have a talk with, well, myself. Okay, straight up for a bit, and then Minnesota jumps into it and does that. I think I just made all these states a little too narrow. Like, Nebraska's definitely a little too narrow. Gotta check on this. I know I'm better than that. Okay. Wow, Nebraska's ugly today. It's gonna be like, yeah. Used to have Squashington, now I have, I don't know. I don't know what the term for a squash Nebraska is. Very compact. Okay, and Iowa goes like a quarter of the way up South Dakota. Actually, hits a good bit of South Dakota. Okay, and it's pretty wide too. There we go. Minnesota. Actually, not half bad today. Goal today is actually to get a passable Midwest, and I might actually do it. We're gonna judge the border of Illinois in a second here. I think I went a little too far on that actually, but I can fix it. So we're gonna kind of go with it here. Okay, so Missouri, I have to kind of eyeball this, but the height is actually about the same as the width if you include the boot heel. So like, if I do that. Okay, that's actually a pretty good Missouri, I gotta say. Yeah, right, and then Arkansas kind of does this little number, and then it kind of slopes up a little more. Okay, now figure out the border of Illinois here. I'm gonna kind of eyeball a little bit because I mean this whole thing's eyeballing. Let's be real here. So it's like a bit of straight border there, like a little cutout for Chicago and the lake. There we go. That's actually pretty good. Pretty good for Illinois. Okay, start Wisconsin up there. All right, let's see. Okay, so the thing I've been doing with Tennessee is that I've been getting a little bit too like wide with it in North Carolina. So we're gonna try to avoid that today if we can help it. Okay, there's Louisiana. It's probably my best Louisiana overall, actually, shape wise. Actually, I learned Mississippi does not have a straight like north south border. It actually kind of leans into Alabama a little bit, like that. I mean, Alabama kind of has this little split there. Kind of a straight border, but then Georgia does poke down into it a little bit. Okay, and then Georgia's border with Tennessee is actually not like, how do I say it, super like wide. Alabama takes up most of or a plurality at least of that border, but okay, we're gonna come back to Tennessee. Let's do Wisconsin here real quick. We're gonna have to do this eventually anyway, so I'm gonna kind of just get it over with, you know? Okay, that's going to be actually the power might have blinked there for a second. All right, that Upper Peninsula is huge actually today, but it's kind of par for my course, as it were. The power did blink. I'll be right back. I'm back. Going to reset the Wi-Fi. Okay, where were we? Let's see if we can get this done here now. All right, a little Pennsylvania there, a little West Virginia. Okay, I'm going to try to make sure I get the right height on Virginia here, if I can. And that'll actually help me with North Carolina as well, because, you know, it's two states right next to each other. It kind of helps when one of them does well. Okay, and actually, I looked at Virginia, and it actually it does something really funny. Actually, it kind of does like this for Maryland, and then the rest of it actually, it almost drops like straight down. It has some, some little nooks there where the Atlantic Ocean comes in, but then it basically drops straight down, and that's not something I expected. I expected it to be more of a gradual thing, but that's what it does. So let's see if we can. See if we can get that closer to right, and it's not half bad. Get a little more there. Okay, we'll call that pretty good. I will say that is half decent. Okay, the Tennessee border kind of does that before it kind of drops down a little bit, so it's not going to be great, but it'll work. Okay, Georgia. There we go. Okay. Okay, now South Carolina does something kind of weird here. So it does like that number there, and then a little more, and then it kind of basically drops straight down, and then there's a little bit of North Carolina. It's a little south of that, and then it goes like at a 45-degree angle down. Okay, yeah, that's about the shape of the border that I wanted there. And then North Carolina's coast, it has like a little, almost like horizontal part actually, before it kind of pushes more that way. Oh, this is actually going to be a pretty good North Carolina, I think. But I don't want to speak too soon because I tend to screw these things up. So, okay, that's shape-wise. Actually, that's probably one of the best I've done. So I'm not going to complain too much about that one. Okay, and South Carolina's actually going to have about the right shape this time. And then we get Georgia here. Georgia pokes into Florida a little bit and then does that. Okay, and then Florida, here we go. Let's see. Has like a vertical part almost. A lot of some of that. It's not bad. Okay, let's see if I can finish this out strong here. Okay, there's New Jersey. Okay, make Connecticut taller than Massachusetts because it is. A little Rhode Island there. We'll finish that later. Okay, New York does not have a straight northern border, actually. It is taken up by Lake Erie on Ontario, or I guess, yeah, Lake Ontario here, so. Okay, Maine's a little too narrow, but not a good finish there. But this is probably one of the best ones I've done actually when it comes to this part of the country here. So I really can't complain about it. But let's see if we can finish strong with Alaska and Hawaii here. All right, Alaska is not actually a state I've studied that extensively, to be honest with you, but I have a good idea of kind of what it looks like. It kind of gets thin there and then it kind of does that. And there are some islands here that you kind of follow the coastline. Okay, let's see. So there's a peninsula like right here that I always screw up a little bit. So we'll see if I can. Okay, and this is the Aleutians there. Okay, and then Kodiak Island somewhere out there. Okay, there we go. There's Alaska. That's not half bad. I will take that. I will happily take that one. And then Hawaii. Let's see here. Okay, it has a kind of a angelfish or a spaceship shaped one. And then a triangle. And then kind of a little kidney bean. And then kind of another kidney bean, or peanut shaped. And almost a rectangular island with a little point on it. And then I believe this one's Oahu. It's kind of like that. and then like that. Okay. I can't complain about this one too much. If I'm being picky about it, if I'm being a little picky, I would say Kentucky and Tennessee are a little too narrow. Virginia's a little too narrow there. I could have poked it out a little more into the Chesapeake. Um, Texas is a little too tall, but those are all really, really little nitpicky things. I can really work on New England a little bit. That's probably the biggest thing to work on for now is that uh, I still kind of eyeballing New England, kind of guessing at New England a little bit, try to get some of the proportions right, and I think we'll be pretty good. Um, this alley here is a little too narrow, maybe, but not too bad. It didn't really cost me anything going eastward, so overall, very very happy with this one. So we'll see if we can get even better later. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.